Hello and welcome to the Market Review, where we bring you key developments in the financial and capital market as it affects the economy. Today we'll be discussing improving legislations to support a vibrant Nigerian capital market. With me to have this conversation is Honorable Babangida Ibrahim, the Chairman, House Committee on Capital Markets. Nice to have you on the program, Honorable.
It's my pleasure.
Yes. Before we begin the conversation, let's just give you a preview of what happened last week in the market. At the 25th edition of the Summit of the Charter Institute of Stockbrokers, the CIS pledged its commitment towards attracting more investments into the Nigerian capital market as the Institute. This was as the Institute inducted 221 new associates and 40 fellows. Also last week, the Nigeria Exchange Limited, the Nigeria Exchange Group PLC, announced its results, showing that for third quarter of 2021, unaudited results for the period ended September 30th, 2021, gave the following key highlights. Its revenue grew by 16% to 4.4 billion naira from 3.8 billion naira in the previous quarter. Profit before tax grew by 27% to 1.7 billion naira, while profit after tax grew by 11% to 1.5 billion naira. Net assets grew by 4.8% from 31 billion to 33 billion naira, while the share price stood at 20 naira. We'll take a break, and when we return, we'll have this conversation.
Tune in to Web TV Daily to stay up to date and informed on the financial market, personal finance, and more. We have got you covered with all your favorite TV shows, economy and politics, market review, women's series, millennial talk, Islamic Finance Weekly, The Brief, exclusive interviews, events, and we keep you up to date on all the updates in the financial market with the Market Opening Gong. Watch premium content. Watch Web TV. Same news, different perspective.
Welcome back. If you're joining us, it's the Market Review, and today we have as our guest Honorable Babangida Ibrahim, the Chairman, House Committee on Capital Markets. He'll be discussing improving legislations to support a vibrant Nigerian capital market. So, Honorable, let us begin with the 25th Charter Institute of Stockbrokers Summit, which you attended. If you could share with us some of the key takeaways from that summit.
Well, the conference, like the previous ones, mostly the Institute usually pick the current issues in the market and bring it up during the conference for discussion. One of the major area that was discussed was the issue of unclaimed dividends. The Association of Shareholders, the registrars, most of the key stakeholders were there, and most of the major challenges were highlighted with regard to why is it that in spite of all the measures that have been taken, yet the unclaimed dividend continue to rise. Some of the key challenge was the identification of the investors. Major issues are the identifications, and sometimes multiple investors, a single individual would invest in different areas with different identities. And the issue of BBN and NIM were also brought as a possible solution, but yet, because of the multiple investments by investors, it's still a major challenge. And one of the resolutions was that we continue to look at the best way in which the identity can be improved, and if possible, to draw a line and make sure that the issue of unclaimed dividend rights is reduced to the barest minimum. But honestly, the issue was the issue of identity was a major area of concern with regard to the issue of unclaimed dividends.
However, I'm very happy that that was a major takeaway for you, because unclaimed dividend remains a big challenge in the country, and I trust that with the legislative responsibility you have, you will do your best working with the regulators and all operators to address the issue and instill confidence in the market. Now let's look at one of the major talking points for the Nigerian economy today, which I know you'll be aware of: the need for government to leverage the capital markets in liberalizing state-owned enterprises. How is your committee driving the advocacy for this? We're seeing the Bureau of Public Enterprises engaging key market operators around how this can be achieved. And what is your view and how is your committee engaging in this regard?
Well, sometimes the government can only support through policies and legislation to boost the performance of the market. I raised the issue privately with some key players with regard to the PIA Petroleum Industry Act. Because if you look at Nigerian Petroleum, NNPC Limited, and other two companies that were going to take over the operation of the NNPC are still warehoused by the government.
Yes.
Because the ownership structure still remains with the government. So what I asked or advised them to do was look at the possible opportunities with the new the incorporation of the new companies, because it may take time because of the transition before the company is offered to public for subscription. So and it's one of the major area now, because with privatization, federal government has already disengaged most of its enterprises while they own shares. Majority shares with the privatization policy, it has been engaged. But still, the major area of focus is the NNPC before the passage of the PIE. And as it is today, the ownership structure still remains with the government, the federal government, and is also acting as custodian for the state and the local government. So it may take time, but it is still good to review the PIA and see what are the opportunities that are there contained in the act that will give opportunity and boost the capital market in Nigeria. Because naturally, at the end of the day, it will attract foreign investors. So the process of even inviting the foreign investors, how they acquire their shares and whatever, has to be monitored through the markets. Rather than to make it more of a private placement, or somebody would just come and invest without passing through the market. I think it's important to review the PIA Act and see what are the likely opportunities and challenges that are contained there that has to do with the market.
Yeah, I like the fact you're already taking the advocacy, because if we get the PIA Act, the PIA right, and the NNPC Limited can leverage the capital market, it will encourage other state-owned enterprises, and that's how we can boost market activities. And we trust that you continue to drive the advocacy, because it's very critical. To record, it's something of concern that no state-owned enterprise has leveraged the market to be privatized, unlike what you may have in Saudi Arabia. We have Saudi Aramco that is in the Tadawu, the Saudi Arabian market, or even what you see in other climes of the world. So definitely, we hope to see that traction as advocacy continues. Let's look at the CISIM Bill, which of course guides the activities of the Charity of Stockbrokers. There have been concerns around it, but I just want to get the update on it, and also want to understand if the other related financial institutes' concerns have been taken into consideration of the CISIM Bill.
Well, the CIS Bill is still ongoing. Initially, the Institute, as the major sponsor of the bill, tried to expose it to relevant stakeholders to see their responses with regard to the bill. And there were a lot of issues then. In fact, even the SEC is not very comfortable with some section of the bills. So at a point, they approached me and I said the best thing to do is to sit down, the three of us, the parliament, the regulators, and the sponsors of the bill, to look at what are the area of concern. Even though by our parliamentary process, we don't usually do that. What we do is that we present a bill to be subject to public hearing. And during the public hearing, each and every stakeholder can come and make his own input. But we just want to make sure that everybody is carried on board. And a tripartite committee, or is it the two committees, the SEC and the sponsor of the bill, they form a technical committee. They sat down, they have reviewed most of the area of concern, and it's give and take between them. But they have to, as at last week, or I can say this week, I was made to understand that very soon the bill will be packaged for presentation on the floor of the House. Yeah. But I was told that they have reached an amicable resolution of most of the key areas of concern. And we have less than 2 years to go.
Yeah.
So we have to try and be very aggressive so that we'll be able to pass the bill during this assembly, so that it doesn't split over to the next assembly.
Yes.
That's what we are trying to do now. So by first week, second week latest, I believe the bill will be presented for first reading, and we'll pursue it aggressively to make sure that it's passed during this assembly, because that is an area where we believe the bill, one passed into law, can make the capital market more transparent. It will build confidence on the investors, and there will be a lot of transparency.
Very important. Investor confidence, transparency, and of course, deepen the market. Let's look at the capital market ecosystem. Honorable Babangida, Ibrahim, I know that you've been in the markets, you've been a stakeholder, now you're in the legislature. You've seen the market evolve from the equities to the fixed income, the unlisted OTC, and now the commodities. A lot of things are happening. But one of the major drivers has been technology, and I must admit that the Nigerian capital market ecosystem really turned the tides. I mean, showed how mature it could be during the pandemic. Trading was never disrupted. The market continued to leverage technology to carry out its activities. As a legislator, how do you see technology shaping the market? And how would fintechs, how do you think fintechs can engage more? And how would this shape your legislation or areas that you can help in legislation?
Well, in the course of operation, especially technology is always advancing. Day by day, you see new technology. So as legislators, our main concern, we supervise the regulators, because we believe the regulators have more capacity to analyze the implication of technology on the capital market, because they have professionals there, people that monitor the market day by day, people that understand the market very well. So we usually engage the SEC, the SEF, and we're in discussion on day-by-day basis on the major development, especially technological innovations that are happening worldwide, where somebody can sit in the comfort of his house, transact their business in the capital market in other jurisdictions, and also pay without even using Nigerian bank. So there are a lot of issues that are the implication of technology in the operation of the capital market. One, the issue of revenue to the government. Some of those transactions online, how do you even tax them? Two, the issue of even monitoring the KYC of the investors. The source of even investing within the capital market has to be genuine. So these are some of the areas of concern which I believe would be monitoring, and very soon a discussion will be open between the regulators, the operators of the capital market, the key stakeholders, to identify some of these challenges and also see how best we can offer them for the benefit of the market, and also for the benefit of government, and also to provide an effective internal control within the financial sector.
All right, finally, Honorable, what would you like to say to all the stakeholders and players in the ecosystem in the market as we continue to wish that we'll have that investor confidence post 2008-2009 market crisis? There's need for that investor confidence, investor protection, the innovation, and the confidence that will make people engage the market more.
What I want to say is that we should always be honest and sincere in our approach to issues in the market, because the major concern is to boost the market. The major concern is to grow the market. We cannot live forever, but posterity will judge us that we participate in ensuring that the market grow. Like you said, what the major challenge is the confidence of the investors. Because if people have confidence in the market, everybody will release one couple and make sure that it is safe. So most of the key stakeholders has to be as transparent as possible, because the transparency is the only way you can build confidence of the investors. So that I know that if I invest my ₦1, it's safe. Even if I'm not going to get anything, at least my investment is secure. What is happening in the market now, especially with this technology, is that a lot of people are losing their money to unauthorized dealers, people that operate within the market and which are not known. But yet, there's a limited control. and preventing people from investing in just without category of people. So I think we need to continue to be honest with ourselves and let us approach issues in the market with all level of sincerity, so that we put our head together and we grow the market.
Thank you very much, Honorable Babangida Ibrahim, Chairman, House Committee on Capital Markets, for the time. I trust that with legislative advocacy and aggressiveness, like you said, we'll push the market forward and make it one that people can have confidence to participate in. Thank you once again for the time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And that'll be all for this edition of the Market Review Show. If you have questions, comments, or suggestions on improving legislations to support a vibrant Nigerian capital market, send them to otuabasi.abasecon@prochange.com. Also, you can join our website, www.prochange.com, to read our latest news articles, stories, and reports on the capital market. You can engage us via our social media platform that is displaying on the screen. Don't forget that you need to be informed to make the right investment decisions. Thank you for watching, and keep discussing the financial and capital markets, because they create wealth and economic opportunities.